Moments with God, a time of reflection for every day.
December 27th, the last day of his life. But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be, which thou hast provided? Luke 12:20.
According to worldly wisdom, one should make provisions for the future and secure one's life in old age. But according to the Bible, worldly wisdom is foolishness in God's sight. In a parable, to teach the danger of greed to two brothers, who were estranged over their father's inheritance, Jesus told the story of a rich man whose barns were so large, and whose harvest from the previous year was so abundant, that he had nowhere to store it. He pondered for a long time where to put it, and then decided to tear down his overflowing barns and build even larger ones to store his crops. His provision for life was secured, and in his folly he thought, I don't have to work, I can just enjoy myself because I have enough for many years. Anyone who had seen such a man would have said that he was a successful man, and that he was a cause of inspiration or admiration for having filled his barns with abundance. However, the wisdom of the world is foolishness before God. For that very night that he thought his life was secure, God's judgment came to claim his life.
Everything a person does without considering God is foolish. Riches cannot prevent aging or death. One day, when we least expect it, our lives can slip through our fingers, and all the worldly gain we acquire for ourselves leaves us with things we never imagined.
The rich man in the parable lived for himself. He had so much, and he could have used those gifts from God to help those in need. He could have served God with his wealth, and begun to lay up treasures in heaven. But his selfishness made him think only of himself, and having nowhere to store it, he decided to destroy his storehouses to build bigger ones. And in that mad race, human beings find themselves, not all, but most, one gain after another, no longer considering God in their decisions. But don't let the things of this world make you lose heaven.
This man's ideals were no higher than those of perishing beasts. He lived as if there were no God, no heaven, no afterlife, as if everything he possessed was his own, and he owed nothing to God or man.
Foolishness is what makes you live without considering God. You can't buy youth, and you can't prolong life with your own means. So, if you haven't reconciled with God, you will remain eternally lost. Therefore, each day must be lived to serve God, and if we go to rest, let it be with the sure promise of seeing Jesus and going to heaven. Amen.
Thank you for listening to this audio. We invite you to share with your contacts and visit the website BibleWell.com.